Wheat penny is one of those coins that might just turn the tables for you. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but when you understand its history and what collectors are paying for it today, you'll realize why this little piece of copper is far more valuable than it appears. Stick around until the end of this video, because we'll uncover not only its history but also what it's worth today, and how you can actually sell it. The Liberty Wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln Wheat cent, has a legendary place in American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909, it was created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolized prosperity, growth, and the strength of America during the early 20th century. By 1954, the coin had already been in circulation for 45 years, making it both a familiar everyday coin and a piece of long-running history. The year 1954 itself was an interesting time in American history. The United States was recovering from the aftermath of World War II. The Cold War tensions were rising, and everyday Americans were experiencing the economic boom of the 1950s. In that climate, the 1954 wheat penny continued its role as a common coin in the hands of workers, children, and business owners alike. Minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the 1954 wheat penny exists in different varieties. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark, the Denver coins carry a small D under the date, and the San Francisco coins carry an S. While millions were minted, not all of them survived in pristine condition, and that is where their value begins to rise today. On the obverse, we find the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His image represents freedom, leadership, and unity. On the reverse, the twin stalks of wheat flank the words 1 cent, and at the bottom, United States of America. These simple design elements connect the coin directly to America's agricultural roots and national pride. From a composition standpoint, the 1954 wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper base gives the coin a rich reddish-brown tone when uncirculated, but over time, many circulated pieces have taken on darker hues, sometimes with unique patinas that collectors find attractive. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 71 million wheat pennies in 1954, while Denver minted more than 250 million, and San Francisco struck around 96 million. Because of these high mintages, circulated examples are still relatively easy to find, but in uncirculated condition, or with certain striking errors, the 1954 wheat penny becomes much more desirable. Error coins from 1954 are especially sought after. Double die errors, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can turn an otherwise common coin into one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love these imperfections. The cultural role of the wheat penny in 1954 should not be overlooked. It was a coin children used to buy candy, a coin placed into piggy banks, and a coin that symbolized thrift and savings. During the post-war boom, for many Americans, it was more than just currency. It was a tiny part of daily life that carried values of hard work and perseverance. As years passed, the wheat penny was eventually phased out in 1958, when the Lincoln Memorial design replaced the wheat ears. That makes the 1954 issue one of the last few years of this iconic design. Collectors see it as part of the closing chapter of a historic coin series. Today, when you search eBay or other online platforms, you'll see the 1954 wheat penny listed in a wide range of prices. Common circulated coins may only be worth a few cents or $1, but in higher grades, such as uncirculated or certified mint state, they can sell for $20, $1.50, or even more. Exceptional examples with brilliant red luster can climb into the hundreds. Auction houses have seen even more remarkable results. For instance, rare error coins or high-grade specimens graded by PCGS or NGC have brought in prices of $1,000 or higher. The market depends heavily on condition, rarity of the variety, and the interest of serious collectors. The beauty of the 1954 wheat penny is that it represents opportunity. Because so many were minted, people often overlook it, assuming it is worthless. But as we've seen, condition and rarity play an enormous role. That means you could be sitting on a coin worth far more than you think. Another fascinating element is how these pennies connect us to history. Holding a 1954 wheat penny is like holding a small artifact from the heart of mid-century America. Imagine the hands it passed through: factory workers, students, mothers shopping for groceries, soldiers returning from service. Each coin carries its own invisible story. Numismatists or coin collectors also stress the importance of wheat pennies as a starter series. Many young collectors begin by searching for wheat pennies in pocket change or coin rolls. The 1954 is often one of the first they encounter, sparking a lifelong interest in collecting, even outside the numismatic community. Wheat pennies hold nostalgic value. Families pass them down as keepsakes, and many people store jars of old pennies not realizing the hidden treasures within. The 1954 penny often finds its way into these family collections. The demand for wheat pennies has grown steadily as copper prices rise and as more collectors enter the market. That means even average condition coins have gained interest over time. If you have one in particularly good condition, the opportunities are even greater. When browsing platforms like eBay, you'll notice how sellers market these coins. Some highlight their rarity, some emphasize condition, and others bundle them in sets. Buyers respond strongly to coins matters greatly. A heavily worn 1935 penny might only be worth a few cents or dollars, but a well-preserved one, especially in mint state, can command impressive prices at auctions. Collectors seek coins with sharp details, original luster, and minimal signs of wear. Those are the specimens that often fetch hundreds or even thousands. As with many wheat pennies, the real excitement lies in what collectors are willing to pay today. On platforms like eBay and heritage auctions, 1935 wheat pennies in pristine condition have sold for amounts that would shock anyone who dismisses pennies as worthless. Bidding wars often erupt over coins with unusual features or extraordinary preservation, sending prices soaring. Part of the magic of the 1935 penny lies in its dual nature. On one hand, it is an accessible coin. Many people can find one in their collection. On the other hand, it has the potential, depending on condition and rarity, to bring in substantial money if sold in the right marketplace. This balance between commonality and hidden value is what makes it such a captivating piece for collectors and investors alike. Its historical importance cannot be overstated. This was a coin used by children to buy their first treats, by workers to scrape together enough for lunch, by families stretching every cent during desperate times. Holding one today is like holding a tiny time capsule of the 1930s. In auctions, rare varieties of the 1935 penny have surprised even seasoned collectors. Some examples graded by top certification services like PCGS and NGC have broken expectations, proving that condition and provenance can make all the difference. Stories of these surprising sales continue to fuel interest among those hunting for the next great find. So why does the 1935 wheat penny continue to matter so much in the coin world? Because it connects everyday people to a grander story. It embodies the grit of a generation that endured hardship and emerged stronger. It proves that something as small as a penny can carry enormous historical and financial weight. Now, if you've held on to one of these coins or maybe inherited a collection from a relative, you might be sitting on something much more valuable than you think. This is where things could turn the tables for you. And here's the key part. If you really want to know what your 1935 Liberty wheat penny could be worth today, if you want to learn where and how you can actually sell it for top value, here's what I want you to do. Drop the word price in the comment box below, and I'll personally tell you not just its value, but also the best way to sell it for maximum profit.
Today we are going to dive deep into the story of one of the most fascinating coins of the 20th century, the 1941 Liberty wheat penny. Now, before we get into the details, let me tell you this: if you happen to own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. Stick around until the very end of the video, because I will share how much this coin can be worth in today's market, and how you can sell it for the best price. And at the end, I'll ask you to comment the word price in the comment section, and I'll personally tell you its real selling value and the exact process of how to sell it safely and profitably. The 1941 Liberty wheat penny was minted during a turning point in world history. The United States had not yet entered World War II, but the conflict was already raging across Europe and Asia. The production of this coin took place under those looming circumstances, giving it not just monetary value, but also historical depth. Every penny struck in 1941 carries with it the weight of a nation preparing for one of the greatest struggles in human history, designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse side of the 1941 Liberty wheat penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. and by 1941 it had already become a national symbol of honesty, unity, and strength. The design remained unchanged, giving this coin a sense of continuity and tradition, linking Americans through generations. On the reverse side, the coin proudly displays two wheat stalks arching along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above sits the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. These wheat stalks symbolize prosperity, labor, and growth, a theme that resonated deeply with Americans who were still recovering from the Great Depression while facing the threat of another global conflict. The 1941 wheat penny was struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins bore no mint mark, while the Denver mint coins carried a small D, and the San Francisco coins a small S. Collectors often look for these mint marks, as they can greatly influence the rarity and value of a coin. In terms of production, the numbers were staggering. More than 887 million pennies were minted in 1941, making it one of the most common years for wheat pennies. But here's the twist: while the coin might be common in general, the real treasure lies in its variations, mint marks, and above all, its condition. A 1941 penny found in your pocket change today may not be worth much more than a cent, but in high grades, or with special errors, it can fetch impressive sums. Error coins are particularly fascinating.
The 1930 Liberty Wheat Penny is part of the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual person, breaking away from the long-standing tradition of using allegorical figures like Lady Liberty. The early 20th century, the U.S. Mint sought to modernize its coinage. By 1909, Lincoln's image was chosen for the 1-cent coin, replacing the Indian head cent, the reverse carried to stalks of wheat, symbolizing prosperity and national agricultural heritage, which gave it the name wheat penny or wheat cent. The time the 1930 issue was struck, the United States was in the early years of the Great Depression. Economic hardship affected coin production and circulation patterns, but the cent remained an essential coin for everyday transactions. Features: a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The word liberty appears to the left, while the date 1930 is to the right. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust." Two stylized wheat ears curve along each side, framing the denomination 1 cent and the country name United States of America. The motto E pluribus unum appears at the top. The 1930 wheat penny was produced in 3 locations. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, largest mintage. These numbers are high compared to rarer dates. Coins in high mint state grades remain valuable to collectors. This alloy was standard for U.S. cents from 1909 until mid-1942, when steel cents were introduced due to World War II copper shortages. The 1930 wheat penny circulated during a time of economic downturn from the Great Depression, reduced consumer spending but heavy coin circulation. The penny retained strong purchasing power, worth more than 20 times its modern equivalent in buying power. Collectors value the 1930 wheat penny based on condition: circulated versus uncirculated, color designation for uncirculated coins: red road, red brown RBN, brown BN, high grade mint state red, MS65 or higher. Examples, especially from San Francisco, are scarce and command premium prices. High grade MS66 red examples can exceed 200, and rare top pop coins can go higher at auction. 1930 was one of the last years before the U.S. Mint made subtle changes to Lincoln's portrait in 1934. Despite the Great Depression, no major mintage cuts occurred for the 1930 cent, reflecting its necessity in everyday transactions. Some examples have been found with die cracks or double die obverse errors, which significantly increase collector interest and value. The 1930 Liberty Wheat Penny stands as a reminder of America's resilience during economic hardship. It's a tangible piece of history from an era when a penny could still buy small goods, and its simple, enduring design. 1932 Liberty Wheat Penny with SEO-rich storytelling, auction insights, and a hook that keeps viewers engaged until the end. It avoids headings, lists, or visual cues, and flows naturally for narration. Today we are diving into the fascinating and mysterious journey of the 1932 Liberty Wheat Penny. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old cent, but hidden beneath its worn copper surface lies a history that is nothing short of extraordinary. This coin has been known to surprise collectors and investors alike, and if you happen to own one, it might just turn the tables for you. Stick around until the end of the video because I will share how much it is worth today according to eBay listings, other online platforms, and even rare coin auctions, along with how you can sell them for the best return. But remember, I want you to comment the price in the comment box, and I will tell you not only its value but also the step-by-step process to sell it. The story of the 1932 Liberty Wheat Penny begins during a pivotal time in American history. The country was in the middle of the Great Depression, an economic crisis that had swept through every town and city in the United States. Families struggled to make ends meet, jobs were scarce, and even the smallest coin in your pocket held real power. A single penny could mean a loaf of bread or a ride on the streetcar. So when the 1932 wheat penny was struck, it carried with it not only copper and design but also the weight of survival and hope. The design of the coin itself speaks to America's ideals. On the obverse, we find the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength and leadership during times of national hardship. This design had been first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and by 1932 it had already become a familiar emblem of resilience. Around Lincoln's portrait are the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1932. Each of these inscriptions carried meaning during an era when trust, liberty, and faith were tested daily by the realities of the Depression. On the reverse of the coin lies the iconic wheat years framing the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. These simple wheat stalks became the symbol of productivity, agriculture, and the backbone of America. It was a design that resonated with a country still deeply tied to the land and its harvests. The wheat cent was a coin that visually connected the labor of farmers with the pockets of workers in the city, a link between field and factory, survival and sacrifice. What makes the 1932 wheat penny even more interesting is its rarity. During this year, coin production at the mints was drastically reduced due to the economic collapse. Demand for new coins was low because money wasn't moving as fast. People were saving every cent they had, and the government chose to strike fewer coins. 1932 wheat penny had a much smaller mintage compared to other years, instantly increasing its desirability among collectors. There were 2 mint marks for the 1932, -1 Philadelphia with no mint mark, and Denver with the small letter D. The Philadelphia issues were more common, but the Denver minted coins had a much lower mintage, making them especially valuable. Collectors today pay close attention to these details because they directly affect the price of the coin. Condition, of course, is another factor. Many 1932 wheat pennies were heavily circulated. By the time they surface today, they are often worn smooth with faint details. Finding one in extremely fine condition or even uncirculated with its original luster is an exciting discovery for any numismatist. These better preserved pieces are the ones that command the highest prices at auctions and online marketplaces. Auction houses have seen strong results for the 1932 wheat penny, especially in high grades. A beautifully struck specimen with full detail and rich copper color can bring in hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more depending on the mint mark and certification. eBay listings reveal that circulated examples are often sold in the range of a few dollars to tens of dollars, while certified high-grade coins with NMS rating from PCGS or NGC can skyrocket in price. Other coin trading platforms and collectors forums confirm the same trend, with buyers eagerly snapping up rare examples. But beyond the numbers, owning a 1932 wheat penny is like holding a relic of a time when America was rebuilding itself. It represents endurance in the face of struggle, a coin that has passed through countless hands, perhaps used to buy food, pay a street vendor, or passed as change in a small town store. Every scratch and mark on its surface could tell a story from the Depression era. For collectors, the thrill lies not only in the hunt, but also in the possibility that an ordinary-looking penny tucked away in an old box or jar might turn out to be a hidden treasure. That is the magic of the 1932 wheat penny. And now comes the part you've been waiting for. At the start of this video, I told you that if you own this coin, it might turn the tables for you. I've shared the history, the rarity, and the impact of this coin, and by now you can see why collectors value it so much. Online platforms like eBay and coin auction houses reveal that its worth can range from modest to surprisingly high, depending on condition and mint mark. Some have sold for hundreds, and rare high-grade examples can even reach higher amounts. If you are holding on to one right now, you may be sitting on an opportunity you never expected. And if you want to know exactly how much your specific coin is worth and the exact procedure on how to sell it to the right bear for the best price, you see the pennies lying around in your drawers or tucked away in old jars. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin that looks ordinary, yet could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its type and condition. If you happen to have a 1942 Liberty wheat penny, it might just turn the tables for you. So stick around until the end of this video as we uncover not only its fascinating history, but also how collectors on platforms like eBay and in major auctions are valuing it today. And don't go anywhere, because at the end of this video, I'll reveal how you can find out the real price of your coin and the procedure to sell it, but only if you comment the price in the box below. The story of the 1942 wheat penny begins in a time of global upheaval. The United States was entering World War II, and every aspect of American life was influenced by the demands of the war effort. Money and coinage were no exception. The 1942 penny belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, first minted in 1909, to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. By 1942, the wheat penny had already become one of the most recognized coins in American pockets. The coin was struck in huge numbers, but what makes the 1942 issue fascinating is the period it represents. These were some of the last pennies made from the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc before the government shifted to steel cents in 1943 to conserve copper for the war. That means the 1942 penny captures the final chapter of an era before coinage materials drastically changed. On the obverse, we see the timeless profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His portrait symbolizes unity and leadership, something the country needed deeply in wartime. On the reverse, the simple wheat stalks frame the denomination, reminding Americans of agriculture growth and stability. This design, which gives the coin its name, is among the most beloved in American numismatic history. What adds to the charm of the 1942 wheat penny is that it comes in several varieties depending on where it was minted. Philadelphia struck the coin without a mint mark, Denver coins carry a D mark, and San Francisco issues have the S mark. Each minting location has different survival rates and levels of rarity, with some varieties fetching higher values at auctions. Collectors today treasure these coins because they are not just small pieces of change but tangible links to one of the most important moments in modern history. During 1942, the United States was fully mobilizing for war. Materials like copper were vital for shell casings, wiring, and equipment. Every penny counted, literally and figuratively, making these coins a symbol of resilience. Now let's talk about value, because that's where things get really interesting. On eBay, 1942 wheat pennies in circulated condition might sell for just a few cents above face value. But when you start moving into uncirculated, mint state, or proof-like examples, the price climbs rapidly. High-grade coins with sharp details and bright luster can sell for anywhere between $20 and a few $100 depending on the mint and condition. What really excites collectors are error coins and rare variations, double dies, off-center strikes, and unusually well-preserved specimens can command surprising premiums. Auction houses have recorded sales of certain rare 1942 wheat pennies going for several $1,000s when certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. The demand for wheat pennies has never really diminished. They are a staple in American coin collections, and the 1942 issue stands out because of its connection to wartime America and its position as the last year of the traditional copper alloy before the wartime steel cents. For anyone holding on to old jars of pennies inherited from family, there is a real chance that a 1942 wheat penny could be among them. And if that coin happens to be in exceptional condition, you may be surprised at how much collectors are willing to pay. Remember though that grading is everything in the world of numismatics. A coin in well-worn condition might only sell for a few cents, while the same coin in mint state condition can leap into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That is why collectors often turn to certification services to maximize the value of their coins. So if you have a 1942 Liberty wheat penny, you are holding a piece of history That tells the story of America's resilience during war, the artistry of Victor Brenner's timeless design, and the transition of coinage materials in a time of global crisis. More importantly, you might be holding a small fortune without even realizing it. As I said at the start, this little coin might just turn the tables for you. Stick around to the end, because here is how it works. If you really want to know the exact price of your coin and how you can sell it, drop a comment with the word price in the comment box below, and I will personally guide you with its value. Imagine holding a small copper coin from 1949 in your hand, something that has been passed through countless pockets, purses, and tills for decades, and yet today could be worth far more than its face value. That's the hidden magic of the Liberty Wheat Penny from 1949. If you happen to own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal its value according to eBay, online platforms, and auctions, along with how you can sell it. At the end, I'll give you a way to know its exact price and the selling procedure. So stick around. The 1949 Wheat Penny is a continuation of the iconic Lincoln Wheat Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. This series ran until 1958, and during that time it became one of the most beloved and collected designs in American history. The obverse of the 1949 penny features the portrait of Lincoln, a design by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse proudly carries the wheat ears, symbolic of American prosperity and hard work. 1949. The United States was experiencing significant changes. World War II had ended only a few years earlier, and the country was entering a period of economic growth and transition. Pennies minted during this time circulated widely in a nation that was redefining itself in the post-war era. Each 1949 wheat penny is a small artifact of that moment in history, linking us to an America full of both challenges and opportunities. There were three main versions of the 1949 wheat penny: those minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, those minted in Denver with a D mint mark, and those minted in San Francisco with an S mint mark. Each variety has its own mintage numbers and collector interest. Philadelphia produced the largest quantity, while the San Francisco issues are scarcer and often more sought after. The metal composition of the 1949 wheat penny remained 95% copper with a small balance of tin and zinc. These copper coins not only carried monetary value but also became part of everyday American life. They passed through hands at diners, gas stations, schools, and shops, often unnoticed in their day-to-day role. Today, the story is different. Collectors and sellers look at these coins with a sharp eye, focusing on details such as mint marks, condition, and even errors. For example, 1949 pennies with strong mint luster, sharp details, or doubling errors are far more valuable than ordinary worn pieces on eBay and other online platforms. A circulated 1949 penny might sell for as little as a few cents above its face value, especially in average condition. However, higher-grade coins begin to command stronger prices. Uncirculated examples often fetch between $5 and $20 depending on quality, and certified mint state coins can bring $50 to $100 or more. Some error coins or particularly rare examples have gone for even higher prices at auctions. Auction houses also highlight the potential of these coins